Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Play On Podcast Hurling Edition. In this part, me and Luke give a review of the Leinster Hurling Final for 2021, in which Kilkenny made it back-to-back Leinster titles once again, beating Dublin by 1 goal and 25 points to 19 points. This was Dublin's first Leinster final since 2014. They still haven't won a Leinster title since 2013. Of course, Dublin were hit really hard just before the game, of course, 4 COVID absentees. Owen O'Donnell's hamstring injury as well. You know, this was one of the cases where Dublin needed to get a bit of luck to beat Kilkenny, and unfortunately, luck went against them. That being said, Kilkenny were excellent. James Maher was fantastic. He stood out. Paddy Deegan was immense. Hugh Lawler was brilliant in the full-back line. And now, Luke, having seen that, of course, Kilkenny Leinster champions for the second year in a row. They're on the opposite side of the draw to Limerick now as Leinster champions. How do you see their chances of an All-Ireland after this?
Well, look, I suppose if you do compare the two games, there is no comparison, I think, between the quality in the two games. So you look at the Munster final and it was absolutely breathless, and the intensity was just unbelievable, I suppose. And I think the Leinster final the night before probably didn't really match it with the same level kind of a fireworks, I suppose. And based off that, you probably couldn't expect Kilkenny to be able to live with Limerick right now. But look, they got the job done, I suppose, anyway. And they looked impressive against a kind of a much depleted Dublin team. Like, Dublin looked completely short up front, and with all the absentees, they never looked like they were going to win this game. And Kilkenny did what they had to do, and they did it in an impressive enough manner.
Yeah, no, definitely. And one thing that is a massive plus for Kilkenny now is their young players are really starting to make the team their own. Like, you look at, Keoghan, John Donnelly, Adrian Mullen, Owen Cody, all these guys were, massive for Kilkenny throughout the game. Their work rate was immense. And, they're really starting to make the team their own. And, they're not as reliant on TJ as they once were.
Like, looking at it the weekend, kind of, TJ had probably one of his quieter games. Paddy Smith did a really, really good job on TJ, and he was kind of non-existent from open play. So, look, Kilkenny managed, like, the other lads kind of stepped up a little bit. And, look, you have to talk about the bench again. Like, you're looking at Michael Carey coming on, and the kind of the energy that he brings. There's probably a good chance he'll be starting wing back out the next day. Now that Conor Brown picked up a bad enough hamstring injury, that one looked nasty enough, so I think he'll be gone. And as well, Alan Murphy, James Bergen, Killian Buckley all coming on scoring as well. And then you're not even factoring in Walter Walsh just yet. So Kilkenny, that bench seems to be kind of the real strength this year. Yeah, I think every team they've played so far hasn't been able to live with that energy coming on, and that's when the game's been stretched. And once that bench started to come on, that's when Dublin were completely out of this game, and that's why scoreline got probably so stretched in the end.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Dublin now, going out of this game, they look kind of more vulnerable than they did going in. They've got players isolating. The next game is in 2 weeks. O'Donnell and Mark Schutte are both injured. And, they're going into a real shark tank there in the qualifiers. And, it's not looking great for them.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the Owen O'Donnell thing. It was a risk, and people were talking about going into it. But look, it's in hindsight, it seems an absolutely ridiculous decision now. He went on one sprint and straight away his hamstring was gone. He wasn't moving at all in the warm-up as well. So, look, it's a mad decision to have played him. And look, the reality is that's probably set him back even further, and that's probably a season done. So maybe Dublin could have had him maybe for 2 weeks' time if they'd done the proper kind of approach towards it. But look, they can't think about it now. So, look, that's a huge loss. And with him gone, and that the likes of Keane O'Callaghan and Ronan Hayes and all these out with COVID, they won't be training. It's very hard to imagine that they'll be able to overturn, in likelihood, what will be either Clare or Cork in the All-Ireland quarter-final.
Yeah, especially, a Clare team, which I think Clare have a good chance of overturning Cork in that game. And if they do, they'll be really coming with serious momentum into the Dublin game, and you'd be quite nervous for a Dublin team that is a wounded animal right now. They're nowhere near their full strength, and I think, their victory over Galway, they need another performance like that to, stay alive in the championship for another round, in my opinion, because Clare, everything seems to be coming together for Clare. Cork as well, not too many problems, whereas Dublin can't even get, even half of their best players on the pitch really right now.
Yeah, I think so. Well, like there were some like pretty heroic performances in there. Like Liam Rush from centre half back seemed to kind of do all the defending by himself as well at times. Thought Conor Burke was pretty good, and yeah, I suppose Danny Sutcliffe and Chris Trummey had their moments too. But yeah, like we've already said, ultimately James Maher just won that kind of battle with Sutcliffe and completely took over. He even outscored him from wing back, and yeah, look, he looks like he's gonna nail down that spot in the wing back line this year now. So yeah, I think that was the real strength of Kilkenny was their defence at the weekend. Like I think that full back line is as good as it gets in the country really at the moment. And Conor Delaney's not even fit at the moment. I think he walks back into corner back, and then you've the other fellas there, Hugh Lawler and Paddy Deegan. It's a rock solid defence, and they were an absolute world of ball and dominated a pretty weak Dublin full forward line. Like the Dublin full forward line didn't get a hint of joy for the entire game, and yeah, geez, they really ate into them all game.
Yeah, no, they definitely, have developed a real solid, they've really developed a real solid base there at the back, as well. Even mentioning Pádraig Walsh out at centre half back is absolutely superb, and Owen Murphy and goal behind them is as good as you're going to get. So, Brian Cody's managed to transition this team as well. It's these players have been around for a few years now. Now they're really taking shape into their own. Apart from TJ and Walter Waltz, not too many links to the great teams before of the early 2010s. Yeah, so they've captured another Leinster title, back-to-back Leinster titles, for the first time in quite some time. So Kilkenny Leinster champions for 2021. Not quite what we predicted, but that has a lot to do with Galway completely messing up against Dublin. And yeah, Luke, thanks for coming on. Don't forget, guys, to look at our other match reviews, and take care.